We are 4 days away from the season opener for the Miami Dolphins as they travel to Indianapolis to take on the Colts, where they are actually underdogs in this game, at least as of filming on Wednesday afternoon. 1.5-point favorites are the Colts. The over-under is 46.5. On today's show, we are going to preview this matchup with the initial injury report coming out on Wednesday, my keys to victory, and my official Game 1 prediction at the end of the show. I am Nic Rohloff, but I want to get the vibes flowing, folks. Do not jinx it. If you want the Dolphins to start the year 1-0 and get a win on Sunday on the road, hit that thumbs up icon. Let's get 1,000 likes. If we get 1,000 likes, we win in week 1. All right, let's go through the Dolphins injury report. We'll look at Indianapolis's as well. There were 3 players that did not participate in practice on Wednesday. Ethan Bonner with a hamstring, Darren Waller with a hip, and Jaylen Wright with a knee. We knew Bonner and Wright were not going to be practicing, but Waller, a little bit of a surprise. McDaniel said it to the media before practice that it was going to be the case. Now we know what the actual designation is. He is dealing with a hip injury, but all things indicate he still should be ready to roll for week 1. I'll believe it when I see it. 5 players were limited at practice on Wednesday. De'Von Achane with his calf. Ashtyn Davis had a calf injury. We finally know what the actual injury was to Davis. We just knew it was lower body. D. Eskridge was back at practice in a red non-contact jersey due to a concussion. Must have suffered it last week in practice. Tyreek Hill was limited with an oblique injury. And Austin Jackson dealing with a toe injury. Couple observations here. Davis has a real chance to play if he's limited on Wednesday. Achane talked to the media and said he feels 100%, so we're good there, thank goodness. Tyreek Hill said he's good to go and feels great, so no really concern on any of these 5 guys, if we're going to be honest, when it comes to their status for the opening game. The 4 players were listed as full participants, but on the injury report, which means no concern about their status in week 1. Storm Duck with a hip, Julian Hill with a shoulder, Melifonwu and Trader Jr. with hamstring injuries. I'd wanted to showcase every single player that was on the injury report. That's the point of this video, but I am not concerned about any of these 4 guys whatsoever. The Indianapolis Colts, in contrast to the Dolphins, having 12 players on their injury report, only had 1, that being backup running back Tyler Goodson. He was limited with an elbow, which means he is likely going to be ready to roll for week 1. So Colts pretty much healthy. I'll admit, I feel like the Dolphins are pretty much healthy as well, with all their key players on track to play outside of the season-ending injury to Kohou. It seems like everyone important is going to be ready to roll. All right, let's get into the keys to victory for the Miami Dolphins. Number 1, you got to attack their interior offensive line. This is a completely new center and right guard combination for the Colts up front. Then a year ago, in 2024, their starting center was Ryan Kelly, and then their right guard is Will Fries. Now, Fries only played in about 5 games before suffering a season-ending injury, but point remains that they have 2 new guys up front in Tenor Botolini and then Matt Gonsalves, the right guard. Now, the important thing with Gonsalves is that this is his first ever start at right guard. Last season, as a rookie, he was a 2024 third-round pick. Bortolini was a 2024 fourth-round pick, so 2 second-year guys. Gonsalves played a lot last year, actually. He was their swing tackle. He played only at left tackle and right tackle. So with him having his first ever start at right guard, I would anticipate Miami putting a lot of different looks on the interior, whether it's Chop standing up in front of him, Chubb, Jalen Phillips, Zach Sealer lining up over the second-year center and right guards. I expect this interior pressure for Miami to pay dividends, and it has to, especially when you're going up against a quarterback like Daniel Jones, who absolutely crumbles under pressure. The strength of this football team is its front 7 and pass rush. The Colts offensive line pretty much completely revamped from a year ago. So let's put those new faces to work early on. I mean, you just look at what Daniel Jones did last season when facing pressure. It wasn't good, man. Faced pressure on 37.3% of his dropbacks, had a 44% completion percentage with a bump up in turnover-worthy play percentages, as well as he did have a bump up big-time throw percentage, but put the ball in harm's way a lot more, and his efficiency fell off a cliff. You also see that his numbers did take a massive dip when he was blitzed as well, with the turnover-worthy play percentage staying about the same. I would expect Danny Weaver to dial up a lot of exotic blitzes, a lot of different looks with that awesome pass rush to give this interior offensive line a tough first game of the season, but also make sure you put pressure on a quarterback that really struggles when he faces pressure. Number 2, go after our good old friend, Xavier Howard. I can't believe this is on the list of keys to victory, and I can't believe I'm even saying this, but Xavier Howard is listed as the CB2 on the Indianapolis Colts depth chart. I really can't believe it, because he was signed in the middle of camp, and I was like, I didn't anticipate him being ready for week 1. And who knows what the snap percentage is going to be for Howard, but he didn't play last year. He completely didn't play. He's like Darren Waller. Last time he was on the football field was in 2023. So him returning to the football field for the first time this Sunday against Miami, yeah, I want to take advantage of an older corner that has not played in about 2 years. And when you look at what he did in his final year playing for the Dolphins in 2023, it was one of his worst years of his career. Actually, you look back, his final 2 years were his worst in 2022 and 2023, according to his stats on Pro Football Focus. Like, he struggled a ton with his age up, not being in the, I wouldn't say football shape, because he clearly is, but hasn't played a real NFL game in 2 years. Having to go up against Tyreek Hill and Jaylen Waddle, that is a very tough first game back. So if I am Miami, I am putting a lot of game scripting together to where I am targeting Xavier Howard, because I just simply cannot imagine his first game back in 2 years, he is going to keep up with the speed, route running, and agility that both Tyreek Hill and Jaylen Waddle possess. We got 3 more keys to victory to get through, but be sharp. Name your top key to victory for the Dolphins. My number 1 was attack their interior offensive line. Let me hear yours. Number 3 is you got to get off to a hot start. And now this has nothing to do with the X's and O's, but it does have to do with us getting a win here, because I do think Miami getting in front early is the biggest key for Miami. Like, we can't stay lockstep with the Colts through the first 3 quarters, nor can we fall behind. You look at this stat from a year ago, and I know this is a different football team, and it's hard to take last year's stats into this year's, but it is just a common stat overall if you look at every trend in the NFL. The Colts last season were 0-6 when rushing less than 25 times last season. It was tied for worst in the NFL in terms of their winning percentage of a team running less than 25 times a game. So what's the takeaway from that stat? Well, it's to force them to throw the football. And what's the easiest way to force them to throw the football a lot and not be able to run the ball, at least that 25-time benchmark? Well, it's getting ahead. You get up early. You take a commanding 17-3 lead, and guess what happens? Oh, they have time against them, which means they need to throw the football to try to get more chunk plays without wasting time like running the football does. And I will say this as well. You put the ball in the hands of Daniel Jones down by 2 scores late, trying to make things happen through the air to come back. Yeah, good things are going to happen for you, not the team that is employing Daniel Jones. So if you're able to get out to a 2-score lead early and just continue to build on that and sustain a double-digit lead going into the second half, it limits the amount of Jonathan Taylor we will see, and it makes Daniel Jones have to beat you, which I'll be honest, I just simply don't think is possible. We'll be live on Sunday, so make sure you subscribe for the first watch party of the regular season. I'm fired up for it. Me and Jeffrey Cooperstein live an hour before the game, so noon Eastern time, 11 a.m. Central time. We'll have a tailgate party pregame, and then be live for the entire 4-quarter inaugural game of the 2025 season for Miami. It'll be very exciting. This is our thumbnail. You see it. Subscribe, click on it, and join us. Number 4, I think Ollie Gordon has to be involved in this football game. He just does. And it's crazy to say, after knowing where this Dolphins roster was at 2 months ago, that I would be on my Week 1 preview talking about our RB4 coming into training camp, needing to be involved in the game plan early and on. I think he needs at least 7 carries. And I know that you guys will say that's not that many carries. Well, he is the RB2, folks. I would expect De'Von Achane to get probably 15, 16, 17, anywhere in that range. Maybe Ali Gordon gets a couple or gets that 7, 8 mark that I want. You see Malik Washington on an end around. We know Miami likes to get involved there. I would think that needs to be an absolute thing for the Dolphins here. And we go back to last year once again and look at a staggering number from Indianapolis. The Colts defense last year missed 156 tackles. That was the most in the NFL. Plus, their opponents broke 76 tackles last season, the second most in the NFL. Takeaway: they are not that good of a tackling team. And I know that was a season ago when they brought in some new defenders like Cam Bynum and completely different secondary, basically, with Bynum, Nick Cross. You have Xavier Howard. They brought in Charvarius Ward in free agency. But the point is this: they were not a good tackling team last season. Fourth quarter time, bring in the bruiser. If you're winning, Ali Gordon needs to carry the ball a lot in the fourth quarter because they will be tired. They won't be ready for the physicality that Ali Gordon brings to the table. So if you want to run with Achane for most of the first part of this game, 2-3 quarters, and then when it's fourth quarter time, you're up 7, you're up 10, you want to ice this game away, 4-minute drill time, bring in Ali Gordon and let's pound him right up the middle. That's kind of what I want to see here late in this game. Hopefully Miami's the lead, so they're capable and able to do that. Finish out the show here in a second, but make sure you take advantage of this huge sale as it is officially time for Dolphins football. $22 off this Dolphins cutoff hoodie, usually $55, now $33. Go to chatsports.com/MIA cutoff sale. Links in the description and comments of today's video. Go grab yours now. Number 5, this one goes back to the defense. You have to prepare for the quick throws, the quick passing game. That is what we will see from the Indianapolis Colts. Don't expect Daniel Jones to dial up a lot of deep shots. They do have a good deep ball wide receiver and Michael Pittman Jr., but they have more guys that are dangerous over the middle of the field. And you look at Daniel Jones' average depth of target a year ago playing for the Giants, and I know it's a different scheme, different team, and different weaponry, but he ranked 19th in all of football in his average depth of target downfield, only going about 7.5 yards down the field every single time he threw the football. And you look at his passing chart a year ago, there is a lot that stands out from this. One, he struggles massively throwing deep outside the hashes. A combined 4 of 24 when he throws 20 yards down the field outside the hashes, whether it's left or right. He simply can't do it. And he puts the ball in harm's way in the intermediate part of the field over the middle. 74 QB rating, 2 interceptions, 1 touchdown, and just over a 50% completion percentage. But you look at his numbers at the line of scrimmage, in between the line of scrimmage and 10 yards downfield. His numbers start to look a lot more plausible and not that bad. So I would anticipate Shane Steichen lining up a lot of throws over the middle, short, get him in rhythm, easy completions. And the 2 players that I believe Miami will need to keep an eye on is the wide receiver Josh Downs and the tight end Tyler Warren. Downs is their slot wide receiver, the former North Carolina Tar Heel that has really impressed over his first 2 seasons of his career. And then the rookie tight end they drafted 1 spot behind Miami with the 14th overall pick out of Penn State, Tyler Warren. Reports out of Colts camp is that Warren has been very, very impressive. So I would anticipate Shane Steichen trying to get him involved in their offensive game plan early, as well as Josh Downs in the slot. Now we'll see how the Dolphins line up. Is it going to be 3 safeties, 2 corners, 3 corners, 2 safeties in their base package? Or is it going to be 5 defensive linemen, the 3 big-headed fellas with 2 interior guys, 2 linebackers, and 2 safeties, 2 corners? Like, the Dolphins can bring out so many different formations. The point is, you have to know, in my opinion, where Downs is at all times in the slot and where Tyler Warren is lined up. Because it could be in the slot, it could be outside, it could be in the backfield, or it could be at the standard tight end position. He's a guy I'm a little bit nervous about if you're looking at weaponries at the Colts offense. So it's about time to give a score prediction, folks. Predict the score of Dolphins versus Colts. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. I'm about to give you mine here in 1 second. I'm going to have to hold it off just for one more second. Sorry for the tease, folks. But I do feel very good about the Dolphins. Couple fun stats here for all y'all. The Dolphins are 4-0 in season opening games started by Tua Tagovailoa. When he's healthy and he starts week 1, they win. He averages 319 passing yards per game with 7 total touchdowns. He is simply elite in opening games. And in the last 3 years, since Mike McDaniel took over as head coach of the Miami Dolphins, they are 3-0. So Tua is 4-0 as a starter in week 1. McDaniel is 3-0. Beating the Patriots at home, beating the Jaguars at home, and beating the Chargers on the road in that unbelievable high-scoring game in 2023. And then when you factor in the Dolphins being undefeated in week 1 with McDaniel, how about the Colts not winning in their last 11 straight season openers? The last game that the Colts won in their season opener was 2013 against the Oakland Raiders. Not the Las Vegas Raiders. That's how long we have to go back for this. They did tie a team in 2022. I believe it was the Houston Texans. But the point is, Dolphins, they win in their season opener with Tua and McDaniel. The Colts haven't won a season opener in 11 years, which is why I feel even more confident, not only the fact that the Dolphins have the better team, they have the better coach, they have the better quarterback, but they have trends on their side as well. So I think they win by double digits. 27-17 is the score that I am going to predict. I feel very good about this. I'll be honest. I'll be laying some cheddar down on Dolphins money line. They are underdogs, and I even told producer Coop I'm going to alt spread it and take them minus 7.5 as well. Not a betting expert. Take it with a grain of salt. That's just how confident I feel in this week 1 game for the Fins. And like I mentioned, we'll be live on Sunday for week 1. So hit that sub button, lock us in here at the channel, and I hopefully see you there on our watch party this Sunday to kick off the 2025 campaign.